Lucifer was a demon. He was not just any demon, but one of the most cunning and feared in all the realms. His presence alone could send shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls. He lived in the shadow realm, a place where light dared not enter. The air was thick with darkness, and the ground was covered in a perpetual fog that whispered secrets to those who dared to listen. It was a place of shadows and whispers, where every corner held a new mystery, and every shadow a hidden danger. The trees seemed to move on their own, and the whispers were the voices of lost souls. Lucifer was known for his tricks. He was a master of deception, always one step ahead of those who sought to outwit him. His grin was as sharp as a blade, and his eyes gleamed with mischief. One day, he stole the luscious flame. This was no ordinary theft. It was a daring act that shook the very foundations of the realms. The flame was a source of immense power, coveted by many but possessed by few. It was a powerful artifact, capable of granting its wielder unimaginable strength and control over the elements. Its glow was mesmerizing, a beacon of light in the darkest of places. It belonged to the angels of light. The angels were furious. They were the guardians of the flame, and its loss was a blow to their pride and their power. Their anger was palpable, a force to be reckoned with. They wanted their flame back. They captured Lucifer. His punishment was severe. The angels were not known for their mercy, and they intended to make an example of him. He was to raise an angel child. This was no ordinary child, but one of the purest and most innocent beings in existence. The task was meant to be a torment for Lucifer, a constant reminder of his transgressions. This was the ultimate test for a demon. Could he nurture and protect something so pure, something so diametrically opposed to his very nature? The angels believed it would break him. Could he learn to love and care for something so pure? The child's innocence was a stark contrast to Lucifer's malevolence, and the challenge was as much about redemption as it was about punishment. Lucifer scoffed at the idea. He was a demon, after all. Love and care were foreign concepts to him, and he had no intention of changing his ways. He would never care for an angel. He was a demon. He embraced darkness. His pride and his nature were his guiding forces, and he saw no reason to abandon them. But the angels were firm. They believed in the power of redemption and the possibility of change, even for someone as lost as Lucifer. He would raise the child or face their wrath. The choice was his, but the consequences of defiance were clear. The angels would not relent, and Lucifer's fate was now intertwined with that of the innocent child. A basket appeared on Lucifer's doorstep. It was woven from moonlight and dreams. Inside lay a baby. The baby had soft, golden hair and tiny, feathery wings. This was Sacy, the angel child. Lucifer grumbled under his breath. He picked up the basket. It felt warm in his hands. He peeked inside. Sacy looked up at him with big, innocent eyes. Lucifer's heart, a cold stone in his chest, gave a tiny flutter. He couldn't leave her outside. What if a shadow beast found her? He took Sacy inside his dark and gloomy cave. "Don't get any ideas," he muttered mostly to himself. "This changes nothing." Taking care of Sacy was hard. She cried a lot. She needed constant attention. Lucifer had no idea what he was doing, but slowly things started to change. He found himself singing her lullabies. He even told her stories. One day, Sacy giggled. It was the most beautiful sound Lucifer had ever heard. He tickled her tiny toes, and she laughed again. The cave felt a little brighter. Even the shadows seemed to dance. He realized something. He cared about Sacy. She wasn't just a punishment anymore. She was his. A strange, warm feeling bloomed in his chest. Could this be love? Time flew by. Sacy grew into a bright and cheerful child. She loved to hear about Lucifer's past adventures, even the mischievous ones. She saw the good in him, the good he had forgotten he possessed. One night, Sacy had a nightmare. She woke up crying. Lucifer held her close. He whispered comforting words. He felt a tear roll down his cheek. It was the first time he had cried in centuries. The tear shimmered on the ground. It sprouted into a beautiful flower. It was a flower of pure light. It bloomed even in the darkness of the shadow realm. This was the power of Cecy's love. It was changing Lucifer. Not everyone was happy about Lucifer's transformation. A mad doctor named Crank, who experimented on magical creatures, wanted to capture Cecy. He believed her angelic essence held the key to ultimate power. Another threat lurked in the shadows. Belia, a powerful demon and Lucifer's old rival, seethed with jealousy. She despised Lucifer's newfound goodness and plotted to kidnap Cecy, hoping to lure Lucifer back to his wicked ways. The Shadow Realm was no longer safe. Lucifer knew he had to protect Cecy. He would face any danger to keep his little angel safe. He was no longer just a demon. He was a father. Meanwhile, in the fairy realm, Princess Floria was trapped. The realm, usually filled with laughter and light, now felt heavy and somber. The trees whispered tales of her plight, and the flowers seemed to droop in sympathy. A jealous witch had imprisoned her in a cage of enchanted crystal. This cage was not just a physical barrier, but a magical one, shimmering with an eerie glow that reflected Floria's despair. Floria yearned for freedom, her heart aching with each passing day. She wanted to see the sun again, to feel its warmth on her skin and to bask in its golden rays. The memory of sunlight was fading, replaced by the cold, unyielding light of the crystal. She wanted to feel the wind in her hair, the gentle caress of the breeze that once brought her so much joy. The still air inside the cage was suffocating, a constant reminder of her captivity. One day, a tiny bird, with feathers as bright as the morning sun, told her about Cecy and Lucifer. The bird's song was filled with hope and promise, a melody that stirred something deep within Floria. A demon who cried tears of light? It seemed like a paradox, yet the bird's words were sincere. These tears were said to possess the power to break any enchantment, a beacon of hope in Floria's dark world. It was a story of hope, a tale passed down through generations. The legend spoke of a time when light and darkness would unite to bring balance and freedom. Floria knew she had to meet them. Determination filled her heart, replacing the despair that had taken root. She could no longer sit idly by, waiting for a miracle. She used her magic to send a message to the Shadow Realm. Her powers, though weakened by the crystal cage, were still strong enough to reach across realms. The message was a plea for help, a call to arms. She needed their help, and she sensed they needed hers. There was a connection, a bond that transcended the physical barriers of their worlds. It was a mutual need, a shared destiny. The butterfly, carrying Floria's plea, flew towards the Shadow Realm, its wings beating with the hope of freedom and the promise of a new alliance. The journey was perilous, but the butterfly was determined, driven by the urgency of Floria's message and the hope of a brighter future. The showdown came on a night of a blood moon. Dr. Crank and Belia joined forces. They stormed Lucifer's cave, their eyes gleaming with greed and malice. They wanted Cecy. "Run, Cecy!" Lucifer roared, his voice echoing through the caverns. He fought with the fury of 1,000 demons. His once dark magic now blazed with protective light. He wouldn't let them take his daughter. Just when all hope seemed lost, Floria arrived. She had escaped her prison and brought with her the fury of 1,000 storms. The cave crackled with magic as the forces of good and evil clashed. The battle raged. Lucifer fought with newfound strength. He knew what he was fighting for. He was fighting for love, for redemption. His love for Cecy had transformed him. He was no longer the demon he once was. With a final, blinding flash of light, Dr. Crank and Belia were vanquished. They vanished into the shadows, their evil plans thwarted. The cave fell silent except for the sound of heavy breathing and the soft sobs of a grateful child. Lucifer looked at Cecy. Her eyes shone with love and admiration. He had won, but more importantly, he had changed. The luscious flame, returned to its rightful place by Floria, bathed the Shadow Realm in its warm glow. This flame was no ordinary fire. It was a beacon of hope, a symbol of renewal. As it flickered and danced, it seemed to whisper promises of a brighter future, a future where darkness would no longer hold sway. The shadows receded, revealing a land slowly healing from within. Trees that had withered began to sprout new leaves, flowers that had long been dormant started to bloom, and rivers that had dried up began to flow once more. The land, once a barren wasteland, was now a testament to the resilience of nature and the power of light. The angels of light arrived, their faces no longer filled with anger, but with awe. They had come expecting to find a land beyond saving, but what they saw instead was a miracle. Their wings, which had been heavy with despair, now felt light and free. They marveled at the transformation, their hearts filled with a newfound sense of hope and purpose. Lucifer had proven them wrong. Once condemned and misunderstood, he had shown that even the darkest of beings could find redemption. His journey had been long and arduous, filled with trials and tribulations, but he had emerged stronger and wiser. He stood tall, not as a fallen angel, but as a beacon of hope and change. He had shown them the power of love and redemption. In his embrace, there was a warmth that could melt the coldest of hearts, a light that could pierce the deepest darkness. It was a powerful reminder that love, in its purest form, was the most potent force in the universe. The greatest magic of all wasn't in fire or shadows, but in the boundless capacity of the heart to change. It was in the ability to forgive, to heal, and to love unconditionally. This magic was not confined to the realm of the supernatural. It was within each and every one of us, waiting to be awakened. And so, the demon who was once feared became a symbol of hope. His smile, once a rare and terrifying sight, now brought comfort and joy to those around him. He had become a living testament to the power of transformation, a beacon of light in a world that had once been shrouded in darkness. He taught everyone that even in the darkest of hearts, love could ignite a spark of light. This spark, though small at first, had the potential to grow and spread, illuminating even the darkest corners of the soul. It was a lesson that resonated deeply with all who heard it, a reminder that no one was beyond redemption, a light strong enough to banish any shadow. This light, born of love and hope, was a force to be reckoned with. It had the power to transform, to heal, and to bring about a new dawn. And in the end, it was this light that proved to be the greatest magic of all.